On this episode, we look at ways to help you slow down and breathe, reflect on where you are as a leader, and reset your mindset, priorities, and purpose. This is the 30. Let's go. Well, hello there, folks. Welcome to the 30. I am your host, Patrick. Thank you for joining me on this day. I think I'm hearing some background music going on here, but I want to thank you for joining me today on the 30. I'm your host, as I said, Patrick. I am the founder and managing principal of the Jackman Group LLC, who we are the production part of the 30. So we specialize in leadership development, training, and coaching, team enhancement, and organizational strategic management. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. Let me see here where we are, and getting a little bit of feedback in my ear, but that's okay. We are going to continue as is. So as I said, thank you certainly for joining me on this episode of the 30. So do me a huge favor, like and share this episode. If you're watching us from YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. And when we're on, I want you to join me. Share. If you're watching this from any other socials, make sure that you share or repost so that others can get the information that we are going to give you. The purpose of the 30 is basically to provide you with information that will help you to enhance your personal, professional, and spiritual lives. And that's why we do this each and every week. We're coming up on our big 250th episode. That's coming up here in about 4 weeks. I think we're at 245. So that means 5 weeks. And we have something very special in store for you. So you don't want to miss it. We will be making some special announcements coming up within the next week or two, where we'll give you more information so that you have it. And I want you to join us because it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a time of celebration. So I want to start off today's show with a question. And the question is, since the pandemic, when was the last time you hit pause? Not because of life situations, not because of illnesses, but truly you made a decision and you said to yourself, I am going to hit pause. I am going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to breathe. I'm going to exhale. I'm going to get away. I'm going to do something, but I'm going to hit pause in life. I'm going to hit pause in what I'm actually doing, except for today. Don't hit pause. But when was the last time that you made a conscious decision to hit pause? See, in leadership, and life, we're always going. We tend to always be giving of ourselves. We're always serving. We're always leading. We're always trying to solve problems. We're always going. So it seems like life never stops. Like we never stop doing things. But in essence, we're always seem to always be going. But here's the truth. You can't keep pouring out and giving into others if you're not being refilled. I'll say that again. You can't be always pouring out and always giving and always doing things if you're not being refilled. And that's what this episode is about. Pause, reflect, reset, a leadership recharge. And that's what we want to do. So, right now, this is your moment. This episode is about you. And I'm going to give you some specific tips. I'm going to give you some ideas that you can utilize, some practical ideas that you can utilize that will help you to slow down and breathe, reflect on where you are as a leader, and third, reset your mindset, priorities, and purpose. So that is the goal for today's episode. So when we talk about pause, reflect, and reset, a leadership recharge, let's get going. Are you ready to go? The first thing that we want to talk about is actually how do we slow down and breathe? And that's what we call the power of the pause. You know, the power of the pause can be used in multiple ways. When we're doing effective presentation skills and teaching others how to present more effectively, we use the power of the pause as opposed to utilize or using filler words. You can utilize a pause. And that's similar to life. That's similar to where we are. Utilize the pause. It's the power of the pause. See, sometimes we tend to associate pausing with slowing down, getting behind, falling behind, or missing out on things. And we don't want to fall behind. We don't want to miss out on what we think or perceive as important. But I want to flip it today. Today, I want to turn that around, and I want you to look at it from a different way. I want you to change your mindset. As opposed to looking at pause in a negative light or looking at it as a weakness, I want to look at it because pause can also be a strength. It's wisdom. It can also be utilized as wisdom. See, when we pause, we gain clarity, right? So pause can also help us to gain clarity. So pausing is where clarity is born. It's about pausing life. It's not saying I'm quitting life, I'm quitting my job, I'm quitting my career, I am giving up on everything, right? It is just pausing a moment in time. It's about walking away. It's about turning off the phone. It's about temporarily getting off the grid. This year, one of my goals this year was to utilize Fridays as my pause day. Now, I realized that I was doing so much. I'm serving, I am teaching, I am leading, I'm doing all these things. And I said, I need a day to just pause. And for me, that day is Friday. Now, have I been successful at it every Friday? No. All right. And I think that's okay because I have to give myself grace as well. But that was my time, and it still is my time to say, I'm going to pause. So it may not be the whole day or the entire day. It may be part of the day, maybe just for a couple of hours. But I wanted to really focus on just pausing for a moment. So practically, what you can do when we talk about pausing, if it's not for some hours, if it's not for the entire day, make it for a couple of minutes. Get up from your desk. Get up from your computer. And these are practical ways that you can just pause. Get away from your computer, take a walk, turn the phone off, get off the grid, pause, pause. See, if you really look at it, we're not doing ourselves any good by going continuously, right? If we don't pause on purpose, if we don't make the decision to pause, what could happen and what will happen eventually is burnout. So, if we need to make sure to avoid burning out, we need to be intentional and we need to be on purpose by pausing, taking time out. Even Jesus paused, right? Jesus got away and says he slipped away from the crowds. He slipped away from the pressure of life. And he said, I just wanted to take time to be with the Father. So if he did it, certainly we can do it. Get away from the hustles and the bustle and the stresses of life and simply pause. So pause has to be part of your plan. If you're looking at developing a plan or your goal, updating or adding to your goal, this would be something that you should focus on. Make pausing be part of your plan, part of your action step. Just get away. So pause is not a detour. It's not something that is a negative. It is actually an essential part, or should be an essential part of your life. So I'm inviting you and I'm encouraging you to simply pause. Like now, I'm going to take a pause. And I'm going to take a pause to breathe in. If you're joining me here, I'm going to take a pause to breathe in and breathe out. So that was my pause. It wasn't the hour pause. It was probably a 5-second pause. But even that is helpful. Pause to think, a pause to really exhale, breathe in, breathe out. When we teach presentation skills, we talk about pausing being a time for you to think what's next, as opposed to your those things that you do. So all those words that we utilize because we're not comfortable with the silence and pause. So we teach you to just pause. 3-second pause and then move on. So pausing is important. Ask yourself as you pause, what am I holding on to that I need to set down, even if it's just for a couple of hours? What am I holding on to that is so important, that is so critical, that I can't let go for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 5 hours? What is so important and critical that you cannot let go? So pause, right? Just pause what you're doing. That's an important part of really slowing down and breathing. Pause, reflect, and reset. So now that we understand and we comprehend and we've made a commitment to pausing, let's move on to the next step. And that is reflecting. Right? Let's reflect. There's a saying that I previously read, and it goes something like this: you can't lead forward without looking inward. I'll say that again. You can't lead forward without looking inward. Right? Having an introspect of yourself, reflecting. So reflection is where growth happens, because we need time to reflect on what we did, what we're doing, how are we showing up? Are we doing the things that we've committed to do? Are we the leader that we think we are? So we need time to really reflect. So reflection is where growth happens. It's an opportunity for us to really evaluate what is real versus what is not real, right? Evaluate what is real versus what we've been running from. Not real. It's not easy for us to reflect. It's not easy for us to really admit that in our point of reflection, admit that we are not as good as we think we are. It's not always popular to ask someone to reflect or to give them feedback. And it's not always popular for us to receive feedback and from others in terms of how we are showing up. But it's important. Reflection is important to our growth. It's necessary. So let's talk about how can we reflect. All right. What are some of the things that some tools, and I told you that I'm going to give you some practical tools, some practical keys, some practical tips that will help us to really pause, reflect, reset, and recharge as a leader. So here's some questions that you can ask yourself in your time of reflection. And these are real questions that I want you to focus on and challenge yourself. Ask yourself. Number one, what's working in my leadership journey right now? That's number one. What's working in my leadership journey right now? And I would take some time to write these down. Reflect on them. Number two, where am I leading from strength? And where am I leading from survival or desperation? Folks, the worst thing that you can do is to make decisions in leadership out of desperation. That is absolutely one of the worst things that you can do when it comes from making decisions. Is out of desperation or out of survival. So where am I leading from strength? And where am I leading from survival or desperation? The third question that I would like for you to ask yourself is this. What am I avoiding that needs my attention? I'll say that again. What am I avoiding that needs my attention? See, sometimes we procrastinate. We don't want to face the music. We don't want to face reality. So we procrastinate. We don't focus on the things that we need to get done. And that's yours truly included here. The other question is, fourth question is, am I showing up as a leader, as the leader I want to be? Am I showing up as the leader I want to be, or just the leader I have to be? And that's a good one. I looked at this question in my research and I says, I have to write this down because this is a great question, even for myself. Am I showing up as the leader I want to be, or just the leader I have to be? Sometimes as leaders, we tend to fake it, right? You've heard this quote, fake it until you make it. So are you showing up as the leader that you want to be? Or are you faking it as the leader that you have to be? Are you being authentic within yourself? Or are you being someone else? Which one are you? See, I know for me personally, there are some times, some seasons where I know personally I am not myself. I'm doing the things that I shouldn't be doing. I'm not in alignment personally on the inside. And when that happens, I'm not producing, I'm not as effective as I should be. Because something is going on. And I know precisely when that time happens because I'm not at peace. And that for me, I know that that happens when I'm not praying as much and I'm not reading the word as I should. So as a result, I am out of alignment. So therefore, I'm not the person that I should be. I don't have the complete peace. I'm not producing, I'm not as effective as I should be. Whether it's in business, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in personal, whatever whatever area of my life is, I know when I am not at total peace and I'm not as effective as I should be. And it all goes back to that two areas: when I'm not reading the word that I should as often as I should, and when I'm not praying as often as I should. So what I find out is this: as you reflect, as we reflect as individuals, reflection brings about, helps us to be more proactive as opposed to being reactive. I'll say that again. As we reflect within ourselves, right? And we know exactly what we should be doing, being more proactive as opposed to being reactive. So that's what reflection can do for us. It can show us ourselves. It can show us, it can reveal to us where we are, what we're doing, and what we're not doing. What we should be doing, but we're not doing that. So we're showing up as the leader that we would like to be, or that we have to be, versus showing up as the leader that we want to be. So reflection is a critical component or a critical step in our leadership recharge. You cannot grow from what you're unwilling to face. I'll say that again. You cannot grow from what you're not willing to face. And growth, I always tell my leaders, anyone that I'm training or coaching, growth only happens when we make the decision to step out of our comfort zone. So stepping out of our comfort zone, meaning that we have to face some things after through a process of reflection. So we cannot grow until we are willing to face our strengths and our areas of opportunity. Reflection brings about alignment, and aligned leaders move with purpose, not just pressure. I'll say that again. Reflection brings alignment, and aligned leaders move with purpose and not just pressure. So are you leading out of desperation, or are you leading out of purpose? That's the question. The third part, the last part, or the last step, is reset. See, this is not about overhauling your entire life. This is not about looking at your life and says, man, I have to do something new, and I have to reset and overhaul my entire life. No, it simply means reset, simply means realignment. You know, you go to the mechanic, sometimes you're driving and your alignment is off, right? You're pulling one way, you're pulling to the right or pulling to the left, and you go to the mechanic and says, your tires need to be realigned. The mechanic that doesn't say, well, you need a new car, right? The mechanic may say you need a new, or you need your tires to be realigned. And then he or she goes in and put your tires up and realign your tires, do whatever they do, right? But it's about realigning. It's not about overhauling. Think about your phone or your computer. Sometimes it's acting up. These things act up. What do? We don't go and buy a new phone or buy a new computer. What we do is we reset or we recycle Sometimes if we by turning on and turning off, powering down and powering back up, and then our phone, our computer is reset, realign, right? So those are some of the things in terms of the three parts, but I want to give you some ideas as to how to reset. Number one, when we're looking at resetting, realigning, number one is to reconnect with your why. Go back to why are you doing the things that you're doing? What is your purpose? Why are you leading? Why do you lead? Why do you serve? Why do you build? Why do you create? Not what is your passion, but what is your purpose? Because your passion gets you to your purpose. So, what is your purpose in life? What are you here for? So, go back and reconnect. The second way to reset today is release what you can't control. We can't control everything. We have very little control over what we do. We have very little control over our lives. We have very little control over things. Like I have very little control over this. I'm praying, I pray and hope beforehand that the Wi-Fi stays up and the equipment functions. But I have no control over that. Right? So I have to release it. I pray on it and I release it. So release what you can't control. Let it go. Let go of expectations of people. So the results, the people and expectations sometimes that you can't meet. You have to let it go. Resetting means simply can mean just letting go of things for your mental. Letting go of situations. It could mean choosing peace over perfection. Sometimes we're so focused on perfection, so focused on control, that it can drive us and put us into a space that we don't want to go. So let it go. It's okay. It's not worrying about what's next. It's not worrying about the situation. You know, one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is Matthew 6, verses 25 through 34. And here talks about not worrying about things. Why worry? So go look at that scripture, Matthew 6, verses 25 through 24. One of my favorite scriptures. Why worry? We can't control it. So why be concerned and worry about it? So the last way to reset today is recommit to your next right step. Don't overthink the future. What's the one thing that you can do today that moves you forward with intention? When we talk up to our leaders and those that are in our training classes, or when those that we coach, and we also have online in the description our planning sheet, and that's free to you. We talk about the action steps, not just the objective or the goal and the strategy, but the action steps, very specific things that you can do on a daily basis that will get you to where you want to go and where you should go. So what is the one thing that you can do today or right now that moves you forward with intention? That moves you forward to achieving your goal or your objective, right? Recommit to your next step, the next right step. So if you're slacking in that, if you lacked in that, recommit to it, reset it, right? If you missed the goal, reset, go after it again. So maybe it is to get more rest. That's one thing that's another goal of mine, to get more rest at night. Sometimes I'm good with it. Sometimes I'm not so good. But that is one of my goals for 2025 is to get more rest. But if I fail to do that, I have to do what? Reset. Now that is something that I have control of. but I can reset it and go at it again. So whatever it is, I encourage you to take the step. Reset. Let it be a fresh start. Give yourself a new opportunity to go after the things that you desire. So, folks, I hope this was helpful. As we close, I hope this was helpful. Pause, reflect, and reset. A leadership recharge. Drop me a line and let me know if you're there and you want to drop me a comment. Do that now. But if you want to email us, and let us know what you would like to see in coming up episodes of the 30, or if you just want to say hi, simply email us, info@jackmangroup.llc.com. info@jackmangroup.llc.com. Go to our website, the Jackman Group, jackmangroup.llc.com. Check out all of our leadership offerings, whether it's training or coaching. Go to it, jackmangroup.llc.com. Connect with us if you would like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or you would like help to further or enhance or upskill where you are now as a leader, or you would like help with your teams to enhance your team's effectiveness or productivity, drop us an email, contact us, and let us know how we can help and serve you. So as we close, I'll leave you with this. Leadership isn't just about what we do. It's about who you're becoming. So pause, reflect, reset. Make it a rhythm, not just a rescue mission when you're exhausted. Pause, reflect, and reset. Ask yourself, what will I carry forward from today's pause? What will I carry forward from today's pause? What will I carry forward from today's episode? So share this with someone. Join us on this journey of leadership enhancement. Join us on this journey. We're going to do another episode of this. And remember, join us if you are a leader, if you are an aspiring leader, or if you are a tenured leader. If you would like assistance with your teams, join us. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. So until then, stay focused, stay faithful, and lead well. May God bless you and your family. We'll see you next week. Thank you.